Hello and welcome to how I play my level 110 wizard. So today we're going to talk about spells, we're going to talk about wizardry, and we're going to talk about my hotbars, multi-binds, all that good stuff. And let's just kind of jump right into it here. Spells. So first spell up, Twin Cast. This spell is a level 85 spell. It's never updated ever again in the game, and it is solely there to double nuke. It is fantastic. It is probably one of the better accessory spells you could possibly get for a caster. So you're going to be using that a lot. Next up, we have a Storm Jolt Vortex. Now, when I first got this spell, I didn't fully realize how awesome it is. And right here, you can see what is going on with this spell. So one, it's our synergy spell. Two, surrounds your target with a magical vortex, dealing 17,000 damage and inflicting Storm Jolt Vortex effect, which makes them weaker to all spells for 18 seconds. You can see here, it just lowers everything by what? 150, I don't know, a lot. It lowers the resist, right? It makes it a better spell, but at the same exact time, it is also the synergy spell for the wizard, allowing all group members to cast one non-fire direct damage spell or damage over time spell. It's like any damn spell you want, you're gonna trigger this, which does an extra 30,000 damage on top of whatever that spell does. So every 18 seconds. So this spell alone is like the bread and butter. Like this is, you got to get this going as soon as you possibly can, and maintain it at all times, right? So this is just fantastic spell, and it has a lot of stuff added to it, right? Shocking Vortex from 103 and Storm Jolt from 108 are applied to this, and then next up at Storm Jolt in the next rank, so 113. So keep that in mind. You're going to have to use the current level, whatever that is, as you get these ranks of this ability. All right, next up I have Thrice Woven Capacity. This is, let's clear that one. This is our magic nuke that we're using. Weaves mana into a bolt of crackling energy, inflicting 22,000 magic damage. This weave has a 25% chance to enhance your future spells with a thrice woven power, but it has a 1% chance that the pattern will become unstable and give you thrice woven weakness. So those, what do those do? They do a lot. So this is, one of those gambling spells, right? So it's, gives you up to 160% chance to get, or 160% chance bonus damage, or you lose 10, 15 to 20% damage. I like the risk. I take the risk. I do a thrice woven as much as possible in this possibility of spells. Next up, we have Concussive Volley. Now, I do not directly cast this spell anymore. I use the AA, so that is a kind of a reflection of that. But when this does cast through the AA, it does, let's see here, causes the target to forget 10% of the hatred for you, lowering their hatred by an additional 23,000, and does Concussive Volley Recourse, which is a high chance to greatly decrease the hate generated by your next 3 ice, fire, or magic spells. So definitely a nice little spell there. It is cast via the Concussion AA that you get. It just does the highest level of that spell. Next up I have Ethereal Braid, which casts the highest rank of our Ethereal Skyfire on our target at a faster speed, but with increased mana cost, and it adds an additional 35% chance to cast another random ethereal damage spell with a 4% risk that the mana cost will be taken without dealing any damage. So, it's a gamble, but I think it's worth it. Ethereal Skyfire is a 36,000 nuke, so it's pretty nice. You save 0.4 seconds by casting this one. I like this one because it's on a timer and it allows me to do some other things at the same time. Next up, I have Dragon Flux Fire, which is a 1.5 second cast time, 25,000 damage nuke. Very nice. Then we have Chaos Scintillization, which does, what is that, 52 to 10,000 damage? Random? I'm all on board on random right now. And then we have Dissonant Fire, which triggers the highest rank that we know of Dissonant Fire. Let's see what our highest rank of Dissonant Fire is. That's Dissonant Fire 1. One of my characters over here has a higher one. There we go. Dissonant Fire 4. So this is a powerful nuke for 127,000. It inspires 102,000 less hatred in your target that you normally would. So it's kind of nice. Let's see, this bring your target with something so you can forget a 25% hatred. So huge nuke, right? If we cast this, a lot of things just went on, but it did 1.3 million damage as a critical. And then the synergy added 30,000, and then we got a pyromancy. So there's a lot going on with that. It's like a 1 minute reuse. I have it in my multi-bind. I do it on cooldown. Now it's a huge mana. It's like 5% of my mana, 4% of my mana. But definitely worth it to get, you know, a 1 million nuke out, because there's a high chance that when this spell lands that it's just going to straight out kill the mob. Or, you know, because they could be already weakened, right? So we got a good chance there. Next up we have Quiescent Gambit. Adds 7,600 damage to our quick casting spells. If all 4 charges are used before the 18 seconds passes, you get a lot of mana back. If it wears off naturally, you will be damaged, but you still get a little bit of mana. Now this is a pretty interesting spell, right? Let's see here. I have 2 gambits memorized. What the hell did I do wrong here? Yeah, okay, I know what I did. This is supposed to be Harvest, actually. I grabbed the wrong one when I was messing around here. Heals, mana flows. Yeah, see, that's what I did. We wanted Musing Harvest there. Okay. Oh, I'm dumb. But it literally affected nothing in my rotations though. So Musing Harvest is the spell I meant to talk about, and that restores 25,000 mana. And then I have Armor Within, or Wurn, which is a 51,000 rune, but increases my mana regen by 26. So it's pretty nice there. All right, Musing Gambit, which is the current level Gambit, right? That was the previous level Gambit. Ignore what I said before. I'm not going to edit the video. But this adds 9,200 damage to all spells between 104 and 120 that have a base casting time of less than 3 seconds. The cost of more than 100 mana. If all 4 charges are used before the 18 seconds pass, you'll get Musing Refreshment, will restore a large amount of mana. If it wears off naturally, you will get Musing Reflection, which will grant 14,000 mana and to damage me for 13,000. So it's like a cannibalized there. Otherwise, I get 24,000 mana, which is the same as the, well, it's about the same as the Musing Harvest. They share the same timer. Musing Gambit and Musing, if I can click the right spells here. Musing Gambit is timer 3. Musing Harvest is timer 3 also. So the way this works is, we have to find the spells with a less than a 3-second cast time, right? All right, so we got Storm Vortex. Let's see here. Thrice is not one of those. Ethereal Braid might be one of those. Dragonfire might be one of those. And Chaos is one of those. All right, so these all have less than 3, so second cast time. So if we do here, Musing Gambit, and then I go Storm Vortex, right? Ethereal Braid, Chaos, Dragonfire. I should have gotten it all back. Where's it at? I don't even see the oh, there's 2 more ticks on there. All right, Dragonfire. There's one more tick. It looks like it just keeps getting refreshed. I don't know what the hell's going on there. Chaos. When chaos doesn't seem to count. Storm vortex. Storm vortex cannibalized it. All right, perfect. So spells. We should have got like mana back, right? Like I can't see that, but so casting the spells like that, you know, in the multi-bind will definitely trigger that on the mobs that last long enough for that. Otherwise, I'll take a little damage, but I'll still get mana back. So I'm not really losing anything if I fail to hit all 4 of those. You saw there that stuff that looked like it was going to work did not work. So it's kind of weird. But and then we have the last two, 12 and 13 at 106. We got a new spell slot, number 13. I just put whatever in there. These are my translocate and my port spots. I just swap these in and out, whatever I need to do at the time. I can't really fit any more spells at the moment in this, the way I have it set up. And here, we'll take a look at how this all flows together right now. I'm not going to show damage. I'll like DPS and stuff because this is just not a realistic situation and it will be misleading. So I'm just going to hit 5. That's my multi-bind button. All my skills are bound on 5 and I believe 4 maybe. Yeah, 5 and 4. All my buttons are bound there. It's all multi-bound. So my assist button, all it does is X target 19, pet swarm, pet attack. And that we're just going to show how this works. And then I'll talk about these other abilities we have in here. So we have, this is Vortex, Dissonant Fire, and it just goes down the line here. Chaos, Ethereal. You can see we're getting lots of criticals, right? We have a high chance to crit. We had some lucky crits in there. We're getting a lot of damage right now. I can see I have a little pet now, Thrice Woven. So all those abilities get cast, and then by the time that's done, Vortex is back up. And that's kind of the way I have these like set, is so that I'm not really, you know, going over stuff, right? And Thrice Woven is the, you know, gets cast multiple times during this because it has a quicker refresh. So to me, this feels like some of the best I can do at the moment, but there might be some more optimization to do. I just have not spent a whole lot of time of trying to like figure all this out because I know I'm going to have to do it again when we get to 125, and I'd rather spend the time at 125 working on, you know, the perfect rotation than here at, you know, 110. But you can see here, like, this sheer amount of damage we're throwing out. And if you watch the videos for Hobbs and Friends, you'll see, like, the mobs just go boom, 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 and they get chunked down. Between the mage and the wizard, there's so much damage going out. It's insane. And it's almost made me think that I want to try 3 wizards so I can do the alliance spell and see what kind of, you know, damage I can get out of that. But it's crazy. All right, so that's that. Let's talk about the rest of the multi-bind here. So as I said, I do concussion first, which lowers any aggro. We do force of ice, force of will, and force of flame. These are 3 AA nukes that do about 20,000 each, right? 19.5, 19.5, 19.5. These are instant cast spells. They instantly do damage, right? Like if I target the dummy, boom, 19,000. Force of will, boom, lucky critical, 114,000. Boom, fire, another one, right? That allows me to nuke all 3 different types of elements, right? And there are 20-second recasts, so I'm always having different kind of magic going out, and it's really nice. And finally, we have Call Azul, which is our summon pet. You saw the little sword. It summons 2 swords to attack. It almost looks like they're dual wielding sometimes, but it goes out there, and it just does a lot of damage, right? It's 22% chance to trigger this Gift of Ice, Gift of Arcana, which increases the base damage of a spell and reduces its mana. Increases base damage of a spell. So it's a nice little buff that I can get, and they should show up like over here, Gift of Ice, right? So if I do Force of Ice, that didn't actually trigger it. So I don't even think I have a realized nuke up. So yeah, so that's something to keep in mind. It has to be an actual spell. Now, I could probably put an ice nuke into one of these, but I just haven't decided how I want to do that. Now, I probably could, but I just haven't, right? So keep that in mind when you're going through your spells and you would decide what you want to do and stuff like that. But I feel like this is good now. I do fire mostly because I'm getting the synergy from my what is it called? My main for the fire. So I have to do a fire nuke for hers. I don't do I am I not triggering? Like, hold on here. Thrice Woven, does that trigger the evokers? Yeah. All right. My evokers and my wizard synergy I trigger with Thrice Woven. All right, I don't need anything else for that. So it's something interesting to keep in mind there, right? I don't melee, so I can't trigger the primalist one that I have. Oh, all right. So that's my spells. That's my multi-bind. This is probably the simplest multi-bind that there possibly could be in the game right now for a class that I feel does exceptionally well. There's nothing else really on my bars except for burn buttons. The burn buttons, I do silent casting, which just lowers my hatred. I do frenzied devastation, which increases my spell damage. We do flurry of gods, which does more spell damage. We do ward of destruction, which is a little object in the world that just AoE nukes everything for 16,000 over and over again. Spire of the Arcanium, which just increases our spell damage, critical damage, and all that stuff. Just more damage, more damage, more damage. Forceful Rejuvenation, if there's anything over here besides Twin Cast, it's not refreshed. This will refresh it. Watch. Let's do Musing Gambit here. Pop that, and then Forceful Rejuvenation. Boom. It's all refreshed instead of the 5 minutes. So there's some interesting things there, right? So when I start my burn, I'm refreshing all this, so I'll be able to re-gambit, and I'll get mana back from all the spells I'm casting during the burn, right? Next up, we have... do I have that same thing in there twice? All right, I don't. All right, so the Forceful Rejuvenation is in burn 2. Then we have the Robe, which is... What is this one? You construct a complex weave, replenishing 3,800 mana every 6 seconds for 30 seconds. So it's a nice mana regen clicky there. Then we have Arcane Fury, which increases the base damage of all spells that have a mana cost by 40%. So more damage, more damage, more damage. Arcane Destruction increases the base damage of all spells, of 25 spells that cost the least by 20%, and critical damage increased by 60%, and absorbs all incoming direct damage damage spell in melee for up to 400,000. So another huge one, and then improved Twin Cast. Now I have this one at the last because that's just where I typed it in, but it shouldn't matter because when I activate burns, I'm spamming 7 and I'm spamming 8, so I'm not really casting any other spells while I'm doing this. So I'm just hitting it enough times to activate each of these lines in a row. And then we have a mana burn macro here, so I don't really mana burn a whole lot because I'm lazy. But if we target this mob, let's click it. Where'd it go? Let's click it and see what it does now, because we haven't mana burned since the last video. That's really how long it's been. All right, so click that. So he mind crashes, which lowers my my aggro, and then mana burns, and then arcane whispers right after that. So all those are activated. So mana burn did 3. It's hard to read. 10 million damage. 10 million damage. That's insane. It didn't crit or anything. I don't know if it can, but 10 million damage. Holy crap. Let's read the description on that one. Jeez. All right. Consumes mana to activate 2.8 million damage. Increase your damage taken by non-life tab spells. All right. So this right here, mana burn, 1 minute, increases all kinds of other spells, non-life tap, right? So screw you, Shadow Knight. But every other spell that lands on him is going to do 20,000 extra damage, right? Absolutely insane. We're probably going to move this to a different button here later soon, because I'm going to put 9 as the glyph button for all my characters. I could probably even put glyph right here at the end or right before Mind Trash, and just make this the ultimate, you know, burn button, right? Like, it's 10 million damage is a lot. Now, hopefully that scales up significantly as we get towards 125, because the names at 125 are having about 1 billion hit points. So 10 million damage against a mob with doing, you know, with 1 billion hit points is not a whole lot. So it's like 1%, right? I think that's it. I think 10 million is 1% of 1 billion, right? I don't know. Because 100 million would be 10%. Yeah. I'm not terribly stupid, but I am stupid. All right, so those are all my burn buttons that I have right now. And whatnot, you know, subject to change, right? Let's see here. This whole bar is just teleports and stuff like that. I did set up this bar here. If I do /care, you can see I'm bound in Western Waste. I'm bound in Crescent Reach twice, and I'm bound in Guild Lobby. Wizards get Terrantary Recall. They get Secondary Recall. They get Teleport. And they get stuff like that. So secondary recall will teleport me to wherever my mark of travel bound me, right? I have Stone of Marking and Guide Stones for these. So territory recall will send me to wherever I'm bound with this. I bound myself in Western Waste so I can go buy the ore and stuff for the armor for Snow Squall. And I tried binding myself in Crystal Caverns to buy Snowbound ore, but apparently you cannot bind there. So we're not bound there right now, but luckily the wizard is like really cool, and the fact that we have teleport is I can bind myself somewhere and I can teleport everybody to that bind. So I can switch my binds all around and really just do whatever I want. So I'm probably going to change my secondary bind to Guild Lobby because it's right outside my guild hall door, and then have the main bind as where I kind of just have the ability to move my group around easy, right? So I just haven't been using that very much because we have the guild hall teleports that pretty much put us where we want to go anyway. I do have a debuff button. I don't know if I talked about this last time, but it does dispel and lower element. Where are they at here? Of course they're not there anymore, are they? Let's see if we can find them in this thing here. So lower element right here reduces your target's resistance by 95, so it's pretty good. I don't really use it a lot, except maybe if I'm slowing with the Beast Lord or something like that, then it gets activated, but other than that, that's the only time I use it. Dispel is going to be this side. It's where is it at? Dispel, while it's not that important right now, I haven't really cared about it at all currently, but when we get to Terror of Lucklin, there will be Eradicate Magic, here it is. There will be mobs that have damage shields that we will want to get rid of just because of how much damage it actually does. So this will 95% chance to remove 4 beneficial NPC target buffs. So definitely worth doing there. And then I just also have Pet Attack, Pet Swarm in there just in case I have my pet out or anything like that. All right, that's all of that. It's kind of getting mixed up now. The only buffs I do are Ethereal's Unity, my Familiar, my Improved Familiar. So the Improved Familiar gets leveled up as we go. You can see here, increases our, increases our damage by 45 to 60%, increases our critical damage by 29%, increases our cold resistance and all that stuff by 115, increases our mana regen by 50, increases our mana by 6,000, and lets us see invisible creatures. We're currently at 1140 mana regen with our current gear, so I make sure I have that up at all times. As you start to do the expansions and stuff like that, from Ring of Scale on, every other expansion or every expansion, depending on what the order you do them in, will provide you with a familiar. Like this one here is from Terror of Lucklin, when I did it on this character, a few years ago. When he was a necromancer, it gives you, more damage to my spells, increases my health, mana, and endurance by 1250, gives me a 60-point damage shield, increases my mana and endurance regeneration by 13. Definitely something you want to have on at all times. It's this purple icon right here. And then I try to keep Armor of Wyrn on at all times, which is more mana regen, so that I'm fairly toasty on mana regen, right? If I mount up with a mount, I'm 1184, which is pretty good, right? Like I can go for quite a while before I need to actually stop. And that's kind of like some of the spells I'm using are very mana efficient and stuff like that. The wizard is just not a mana drain so far that I've noticed. All right, so let's talk about gear and we can wrap this up. So the best gear you can get as a level 110 is Snow Squall. The second best is Snowbound. These come from the Velius expansions, TOV, Torment of Velius, and COV, Claws of Vishan. I do not have any Snow Squall on this guy, only Snowbound. Snowbound is tradable on all servers, whereas Snow Squall is not. So keep that in mind when you're shopping. You get that from like tier 1 zones in COV, and this comes from tier 1 zones in Torment of Velius. It's about the best you can get. Now, depending on what spells you cast, you're going to want to pick up different focus items. There are 3 focus items of interest for the wizard that I know of that I would consider the most important. You have cold, fire, and magic. I'm going to zoom this one down a little bit here. Depending on what you cast, right? So Storm Jolt is going to be magic. Thrice Woven is going to be magic. All the fire ones here are fire, and I'm not casting a cold one at the moment, but I'm probably going to try to integrate one into the mix just so I can now take advantage of this gift device that I notice I'm not taking advantage of. So that is what you're going to need to do there. These are going to be the most important items throughout all your leveling. You don't really need, everything else is important, but these are going to increase your damage the most, right? By increasing, like, say, your arms, to the next tier, like tier 2, this would go from like 60-90 to, let's say, 60-100, so you're getting a little bit more damage out of that. All the way up to, like, I think 170% at Lorien Song Raid tier level. Right, and I think Outer Brood has even higher numbers. I just haven't looked at them yet, so not sure there. So increasing that is one way to increase your damage. Another way is getting rank 2 spells. I currently only have rank 1 spells, so rank 2 is like your group, your group content spells, right? Rank 3 is your raid content spells. You do a raid, you get spells to drop, and you might, win one or however your guild distributes it. Right, group stuff, I don't have any on me. Let me see here. That's the wrong character anyway. He doesn't have any in there. All right, let's look at my bank. I think I have some in my bank. I can show how this works. Yeah, so here's all the spell items and stuff right here. These are from Lorien Song, right? You right-click this, a window pops up, and it lets you select the spell. These are all rank 2. For the the next tiers and stuff like that. So upgrading those to the next tiers will give you slight more damage. There's also a thing called type 3 augs, right? Let's see here. I think my mage has some. Yeah, here's one. That's the mage. That's the necro one. What the hell? Am I wearing that on my mage? Let me see if I can find a better one here. This gear is absolutely terrible. All right, so these are for the necro, so that's fine, right? These are type 3 augs. This is level 1 16, so I don't even know what expansion this is for. It adds, you know, 28,000 or 2,800 damage to that spell. That's dot, so every tick gets 2,800 damage, I believe. I don't know, but you want to get those as much as you can. They're like 20k each, so make sure you put them in the slot you want to put them in, because it requires a perfect augment distiller to remove those and whatnot. But I'm assuming that the wizard ones are all going to be like added damage to all my nukes, so that would be fundamentally empowering. I'm not going to buy any of them on this character until 125, and I typically would not recommend buying any of that till 125 unless you're on a TLP server where it's going to be, you know, more than a month before you're to the next level, right? Because we do level pretty quick in live, so it's not really worth it beforehand. But with that said, that is everything. I cannot think of anything. I'm losing my voice, and I got more videos to post. So that's that. That is how I play my level 110 wizard. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. If I'm doing it completely wrong and you think I'm dumb, tell me. I would like to know. But please have a fantastic day and stay safe out there.